You know, before I get into the meat of this video, there's a few things that I need to say up front that will, of course, serve as the intro to this masterpiece. And, of course, you have seen the title. Now, I'm sitting back and I'm watching on social media all of the backlash one Kaepernick is receiving, and not from Tim Tebow signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's really much to do about nothing when you consider that Urban Meyer's coached Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow knows Urban Meyer's offense. So for him to give this guy a shot who played for him in college, that's it's a no-brainer. Now, him changing positions from quarterback to linebacker, but hell, I really don't care what Jacksonville is doing. At the end of the day, that's them. But everybody is talking about, well, Tim Tebow got a shot, why not Kaepernick? We're going back and forth on this crap, and that's not even why he was on my radar. Kaepernick was on my radar because of this book. I believe it's an anthology, if I'm correct, and he helped edit it, or he edited it. And when it comes out, I think it comes out in the fall. I'm gonna get it because I want to see it. I want to read it. I want to see what's in it. But the cover of this book has all these black women. Here they go. They all up in arms because on the cover it has a Negro female, and not only just a Negro female, but a dark-skinned Negro female. And these black women, they hot. Man, they there's some petitions out. I've seen one petition by one Paris who has a petition to have him change the cover of his book and have him put a biracial guy or a black male, but don't use the black woman's image. I'm going to deal with that in the whole. I'm going to address that in the whole. And I'm going to brush around the a little bit in this video here, but I'm going to deal with that whole concept of why they have a problem and why I think they need to study their history. The internet, and I told y'all this years ago. I said this years ago. The internet is a curse for this Negro. The internet is a curse for this Negro. And the reason why it is a curse is because before the advent of the internet, in order for you to really gain an understanding of the level of stupidity, pathology, sexual deviance that exists in the Negro community, you either had to live there or have family who lived there or know someone who lived there. And you go to visit and you get wind of the dysfunction. But if you didn't live in that community, you didn't see it. But now with the internet, these Negroes, they broadcast their dysfunction. They record it themselves and upload it for the entire world to see. And not only do they record their dysfunction, but when they make videos, they expose their ignorance. They expose their stupidity. So you have a cadre of black women making YouTube videos, putting up social media posts about this Kaepernick book and claiming that black men are hiding behind black women and black men are emasculating black women and the whole, I mean, all of this crap that just isn't a testament to how historically ignorant a lot of these sisters are. But let me back off of that, because we're going to address that in the whole, you know what it is, second nature like breathing. You want to see the Kaepernick book and the image that got all these women up in arms. I'm going to show you the image, the book, and then I'm going to give you my commentary. You know the second nature like breathing. You want it, send me an email, I'll get you the link. And you seen the title of the video. I believe it was on, it had to be Monday. As a matter of fact, it was Monday. Brother Obsidian sends me an email. And he shares with me this photo that one of his followers shared with him on Instagram. And he tells me in the photo, I know that you would like this for your war chest. And as I looked at the photo, I sent him back an email and I told him I'm all over this. Thank you. Thank you for sending me this. Because it's interesting how Obsidian sent me this email on Monday, and I was already prepared. Based on the video that I did last week, a black female left a comment in my comment thread. And the reason why I know she is a black female is because she follows the Rabbit Hole Production. So she's a black female from the South. And she made a comment in my video that not all of the ills that's in the black community are black women's fault. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what she is. Basically what she was saying is that everything that's wrong in black America, you can't blame on black women. So you see the title of the video. I concede that. I concede that. I mean, I have no problem with it telling you, yes, you're right. All of the ills that exist in black America, we cannot lay at the feet of black women. Y'all heard me say it. But now listen, let's be fair. Let's be fair. Because if I'm willing to concede that point to you, then there's a point I want you to concede to me. And that is, I want you to concede that, listen, yes, black women told the world that she didn't need a man. And because she didn't need a man, she had the capabilities of rearing her sons into men by herself, and then she went out and tried to do that. I want you to concede that point. See, because this is the you know, the 5,000-pound pink elephant that's in the room that nobody wants to talk about. Now you got all these Negroes on social media, and they talk about the symptoms. They talk about the symptoms. It's easy to talk about the symptoms. But what's the cause? See, if you go to the doctor, no matter what's ailing you, yeah, the doctor may tell you, listen, I'm going to give you this. I want you to take this twice a day. This will help you deal with those symptoms. But ultimately, we have to get to the source of your problem. You go to the dentist, you got a toothache. Yeah, the dentist will give you some stuff to help you deal with that pain, but ultimately we got to go in your mouth and dig that tooth out of there. So the Negroes, they have no problem discussing the symptoms. But not one of them. Well, I won't say not one of them, but most of them. They don't deal with the cause. So I concede to the black woman, yes, you are exactly right. We cannot blame all of the dysfunction in the Negro community on black women. I concede that point to you. But now I want you to concede this point to me. That the entire world heard y'all say, I don't need a man. I can do this myself. And then y'all went out and attempted to do it yourself. And this is how you got branded as being strong and independent. See, this is the reason why I have a problem with these sisters, and I'm going to deal with this in the whole, who say that black men are emasculating black women. No, no. Your April Mason sells a shirt that reads, and I'm paraphrasing because I really, I may misquote it, but y'all get the gist. She sells a shirt that says, don't call me strong and independent. That's not a compliment. And I've done a video asking Miss April Mason, listen, when did that become an insult? Because yesterday, if you told a black woman, sister, you are strong and independent, she would smile. Hell, she may even have bent over. Hold on, man. I forgot this is the politically correct rant. We are not in the hole, so we want to, let me take a sip of this while y'all scratch that from the record. But you tell a sister yesterday that you're strong and independent. That was a compliment. And the strong independence of the black woman derived from her doing what? Raising her children by herself. Because after all, she said she could do it. And this is the reason why she received that title of what? The backbone of the black community. Why was she considered the backbone of the black community? Because she was the one that was the single mother, and she was raising these children by herself because she said she didn't need a man. I can rear my sons into men by myself. I don't need him. Now, let's be fair. Some brothers did leave. Yeah, I would be disingenuous if I didn't admit that. Yeah, there's some brothers who got up and left. Some fathers just left, but some fathers were surgically removed based upon that white liberal and their policies. I mean, this is historical fact, y'all. I mean, why y'all don't get this? It's just mind-boggling to me. So if we're going to concede that not all of the problems that exist in the black community is the black woman's fault, and I concede that point, y'all have to concede that the world heard y'all say it. And when I say y'all, they may not be talking about these women today because they're young. I'm talking about your mothers, your aunts, your grandmothers. They said it. They told the world, I don't need a man. I don't need him. All I want from him is for him to pay his monthly obligation. That's it. He doesn't even have to have a relationship with those children. I don't care. I don't need him. So now, once y'all concede, that y'all's mothers, y'all grandmothers, and y'all's aunts did actually say this. This is part of the historical record. It cannot be erased. If you study your history, you would know this. So once y'all concede that point, then guess what you also have to concede by default? All of the residual effects that stem from those decisions. What decision? Her deciding to raise her son and make a man out of him herself. That decision, all of the residual effects from that decision is her fault as well. See, this is the reason I know why y'all don't want to accept it. Oh, I got it. I mean, I know why y'all try to go back into the historical record and erase it. I got that. I understand that. I got it. I understand why y'all don't want to admit this and y'all pretend like it never even happened. But it did happen. It's historical fact. And so since I'm conceding that not everything is her fault, y'all have to concede that she said she could do it. She went out and tried to do it, being backed by not only the Democratic Party, the white liberal, the black pastor. They all supported this woman. They all patted her on the back. You strong, you independent, you the backbone of the black community. And since we see the chickens have come home to roost, we see the fruits of your labor. Or rather, I should say, we see the rotten fruit of your failure. Now y'all want to play like y'all never said it. Y'all want to sweep it under the rug and say, why are you bringing that up? But this is the crux. This here is the crux, man. If you want to talk about Black America and all of its dysfunction, one way or another, it stems from this. This is just the fact. It's tough. Yes, racism plays a part. But if you had a family structure, if you had a family unit, if you had a functioning community, it would better equip you to deal with racism. Nobody denying the existence of racism. You have to be a fool to say it don't exist. Oh, sure it exists. But what equips you to deal with that structure of white supremacy, as y'all say, would be a family unit, a family structure, core values, discipline. That would help you to deal with the broader context of white supremacy. But now what you have now, with this foolishness y'all got now in y'all's community, and all of this is the residual effects. See, this is what I'm saying. If y'all concede, if I'm conceding that it's not all her fault, then y'all have to concede that, yes, she said that. We heard our mothers and our grandmothers, they did say that. And they went out and they tried to do it. And because they tried to do it, she developed this tough, hard persona, and people called her strong and independent. They said she was the backbone of the black community. Yeah, that's a fact. We can't deny that, y'all. We got to fall on the sword on that one. But no, these sisters want to pretend like it never happened. And then what they want to do is they want to go out and criticize the behavior from these dysfunctional Negroes. They want to talk about, Cynthia G, the 3 trash bags. Yeah, I don't deny that. Just like I don't deny her when she talked about the beta male coon. Yeah, you're right. But now, here's where these sisters, again, you ask them and they don't want to answer this question. Hey, let me ask you a question, Cynthia. These 3 trash bag coons, the reason why you call them that, the behavior that they exhibit, is it genetic or is it a learned behavior? Because now if you're saying he's one of these 3 trash bag coons, and the behavior that he exhibits is not genetic, because why? Because all black men don't exhibit that. Now we have to agree that there are some black men who don't meet that criteria. Now, if you're willing to say that it's genetic, then that means all of us are like that. Which I know there are some black women who probably believe that. But now, if you're not willing to say it's genetic, then that means that his behavior is the process of socialization. So then we have to ask the $64 million question. Who raised the nigga? I mean, hold on. Let me take another sip. Take another sip of that. Y'all keep got me thinking I'm in the hole, man. And see, that's the reason why I did that whole nature versus nurture piece. The historical argument, old as time itself damn near. If this is not nurture or nature, meaning genetic, because if it's genetic, then all black men are like that. We have no control over that. No control over it. It's genetic. You were born that way. It's just what it is. But now if it's nurture, meaning it's a process of socialization, then we have to look at who socialized him. And when we look at who socialized him, who do we see? So how do we not blame her for making that decision, going out and attempting to try to do it herself, and in the process completely messing it up? Now we're looking at him and his dysfunctional behavior. Who do we blame that on? Shouldn't we look at the one who socialized him, since we all agree it's not genetic? Since it's not genetic, then that means somebody raised him. And in the process of raising him, they screwed him up. Who was it? Who? See, this is the reason why nobody, this is the 6,000-pound pink elephant in the room. Nobody wants to address this. They will deal with the symptoms, but they won't deal with the cause. You got a lot of people on social media, they talk about the cause or the symptoms, black male, black female, and their unions. And they say it's a gender war. Y'all know where I'm at on that. But this gulf that exists between black men and black women, they will address it, but they pretend like it sprung up like a dandelion or a weed. No, it has an origin. It has an origin. Because listen, if you're going to tell me that a young girl gauges how a man should treat her, or a young boy should treat her, off of what? How her dad treats her mother. So she's looking at that relationship and she's seeing how her dad treats her mother. That gives her a barometer. That gives her a frame of reference as to what a man, or how a man who says he loves you, he cares about you, should treat you. Because I look at how my dad what he did for my mom. Likewise, the boy, if I want to know how a woman is supposed to respond if she says she loves and cares about me, I looked at how my mom treated my dad. That's if you have that union. But now, what's the barometer if you don't have that union? If you don't have that to create that barometer of how a man should treat me based upon how my dad treated my mom, and the dad ain't there. So now what's the frame of reference for that young girl? Those coons that your mom have coming and going like a revolving door? Is that the barometer? And since she now has a screwed up frame of reference, whose fault is that? Who do we blame? See, this is the reason why they want to sweep it under the rug and pretend like it don't exist. I told y'all in video after video that I've done. I studied y'all, man. I know y'all. I know y'all like the back of my hand, man. I spent time studying you Negroes, man. And this is the reason why I operate from the premise, it's over. We're not coming out of this, man. We're just not. We're not. I mean, you may have individual stories of success, individual pockets of success, but as a collective, we are not coming out of this. Not in our lifetime. It's not happening. It's too far ingrained. The gulf is too wide. And if you actually believe that we can correct this, I have to ask you, what is that weather like in Oz? Because that's where you live it. Because it ain't happening. It ain't happening. That photo that Brother Obsidian sent me is the crux. You want to talk about Blackistan? That's the origin. That's why, again, I laugh. It's funny to me. When I hear these sisters always talking about, girl, you better get out of Blackistan. Hashtag divest from Blackistan. I sit back and I chuckle. They don't know the origin of it. They don't know where it came from. They don't know who's responsible for it. So for that sister to leave in my comment thread, all of the evils that exist in the black community cannot be placed at the doorstep of black women, I concede that point to her. You are right. But now, this is what I want you to concede for me. Because it's historical fact. It's part of the historical record. We can't deny this. It happened. No, Mr. Hotep, pro-black, back to Africa, red, black and green, black first Negro. No, slavery did not bust up your black family. No, it didn't. No, I know why y'all saying that, because y'all don't want to stand eyeball to eyeball with her. So instead of, you don't have the stones to stand eyeball to eyeball with her. So what you will do is you will jump over her and go back and say, well, slavery did it. That sounds good, but it's not fact. It's just not fact. And once you do your research, you'll know that. As I said in my last video, you had a family unit long after slavery ended. Did slavery have an adverse effect on black people or black family? Of course it did. Of course it did. But it did not destroy your family. You had a father and a mother in the home long after slavery. Yes, you did. So when we see this woman saying, I can do it myself, and she went out and tried to do it herself, and now her chickens have come home to roost, sisters, y'all don't get the opportunity to complain about that unless you're going to complain about your mother and the job they did on her son. Now, if you want to have that conversation, hey, go right ahead. But that's not the conversation they have. They want to talk about the dysfunction as if it came from nowhere. No, baby, it has an origin. I'm not denying Cynthia G's premise on her 3 trash bags. Yeah, some of it I agree with, but Cynthia, it has an origin. These Negroes that just did not spring up like a weed, like a dandelion. They have an origin. Somebody socialized them. Who was it? Who was it? Tell me what it was. Concede that point to me. But we know they're not going to concede that point. And the reason why they're not going to concede that point is because they want to continually bash black men and talk about black male pathology as if it exists in a vacuum. We don't know, poof, all of a sudden they dysfunction. No. You can't run the daddy off, destroy the daddy's image in the mind of your son. And then when your son gets 6'9" in the 9th grade, wearing size 15 shoe, weighing 340 pounds, you can't then ask the dad to come in and discipline him. It's too late. You done destroyed him. The boy gonna say, listen, why should I listen to him, Mom? Shit. You done already told me my dad ain't shit. Who is he? Too late. You done already destroyed him. And now what you want to do is play the role that Trayvon Martin's mom did with him and just kick him out the house. Get out my house. That's the next step. And we see how that wound up. But, let me stop. Let me go and wrap this video up. If you want that Colin Kaepernick commentary on his book and what got these sisters up in arms, you know what it is, second nature like breathing, send me an email and I'll get you the link. I'm going to wrap this one up, y'all, because I feel myself getting heated and I'd rather wait for that in the hole. Send me an email, I'll get you the link. Because at the end of the day,